Hi. No, you're not imagining things. It's really me. Back and better than ever. I have a very special guest joining me today. Say hey, Tudor. Say hi, Pootsy girl. Say hello. My name is Jovi, and I am a big girl now. Not fresh out of the womb anymore. She's quite large. It's a hefty baby. She's 3 months old now, and she is currently teething, so that's really fun. But I thought I could come on here and tell you guys, she's right here, don't worry, tell you guys about my pregnancy and my birthing experience. My pregnancy was super easy. I stopped making videos because I was literally so exhausted. I have never been so tired in my whole entire life, or so I thought, because as soon as I had her, I wanted to wake up every hour on the hour. She woke up to eat. It's very trying. So if you are not a patient person, because I'm not a patient person, I suggest you work on that before you have a child, because I did not and was not ready for just how exhausting it is. But we're here, and she's sleeping through the night now, and she's literally the best baby ever. Like, she only ever cries if she's hungry or if she wants you to like talk to her, because she's a very vocal baby. She's not acting like it right now because she's trying to figure out what I'm doing with this ring light out. She's like, why is it so bright in here? But we went in to have her the day before I was 41 whole weeks pregnant, because she was due August 24th and was delivered August 31st. So literally 41 weeks I was pregnant. I thought I was gonna die because I was so big, and I was so miserable right at the end because I had heartburn right towards the end, and I was just so big, and it was so hot. Like, note to self, never be big pregnant in the summer again if you can help it, because that was not good. But we did try to have her like she was planned, so that was bad on our part because it was so hot. I am so glad she was born in August though, because then September was even hotter. Personally, I think it was hotter. I don't know, I didn't remember what temperature it was like outside, because we only took her outside for like an hour every day that we remembered to, because she had jaundice kind of bad. But I mean, it fixed itself after we took her outside a couple times. But when we went in to have her, it was like, it really sucked because a bunch of people went into labor on their own, and I had to be induced. And so they told me at my OB to call at 5, and they would tell me to come in at 6 or 7. And I was like, okay. Well, we got over to Statesboro to have her, and they were like, when I called at 5, they said, can you call back at 8, because we've had a couple women go into labor on their own, and we've got to get them situated. And I'm like, of course, like, I wish I could go into labor on my own, but whatever. And so called back at 8, and they were like, can you come in at 10? And we live an hour away, so it was like we could stay here, or we could go home and have to come right back in like an hour. So it was like ridiculous to even try to do that. And so I called my aunt and uncle, because they live in Statesboro, and they're literally God sent angels, because they were like, of course you can come here before you go have the baby. And so we went over there and stayed with them until I think it was like 9:50 when we left their house, because they lived so close. But we got checked in, and I was so nervous because I have never been in the hospital before. I mean, I don't think that that's a normal thing to be hospitalized, of course, but I'm sure that there's more than just me that their first time being in a hospital was when they had a child. It was very, very nerve-wracking for me, but as soon as we got checked in, they were very fast about getting us back to a room, and a nurse came in and checked all of my vitals and hooked me up to an IV and put my heart monitor on for the baby. She's not having fun down here, but that way we could monitor her and make sure she was okay through the whole process. And then they started trying to help me dilate, and it didn't work, but we'll get to there. But my night nurse, she was so funny. Like, at first I was intimidated by her, but I don't know, she just seemed like one of those people that you don't want to mess with. Like, I don't know, but she was so funny, and she ended up being so nice, and I really did enjoy having her. And then the next morning, they did their shift change, and my labor and delivery nurse was literally an angel. Like, absolutely. I don't think that I would have been as calm through the whole process of having Jovi, that's her name, sorry, this is Jovi Lane. Hello, say hi. More worried about the TV. Okay, fine. But I don't think I would have been as calm if it hadn't have been for my nurse. She was amazing. I wish that I could have brought her home with me when I was trying to recover, because she was just so nice, and her bedside manner was fantastic. And so they came in. Of course, this is not like the order of how things happened, probably because I don't remember very much because I was on drugs. So, to be fair, it's okay, I don't remember all of this. But I think I got to a 3 or a 4 before they started the Pitocin drip to help me go into labor. And then I think he broke my water before they did that. I don't remember. It was so fast. Like, I feel like everything happened so fast the next day. The day she was born, I mean. And so, when he broke my water, he was like, oh, the baby's had a bowel movement. And I'm like, is she okay? Like, I don't know. I've always heard, like, if the baby swallows is it meconium? If the baby swallows it, then they could die. And so when he said it so calmly, I was like, is this something to be calm about? Because I don't think it is. But obviously they knew from the heart rate monitor and from the monitor that was measuring my contractions that she was okay. I was okay. Yes. And so since she was fine, I think that that's why he was so calm about it. But I was just like, oh my God, I'm freaking out, obviously. But after he broke my water, they let me try to dilate on my own. And they had this peanut. I don't know if any of you who have had a child had to use this peanut, but it is literally like this big and like this wide, and they put you on your side and they put it between your knees, and it's supposed to help dilate you. But I hated that thing because you had to sit there just with it sitting in between your knees, and you have all this pressure from the baby. Like, she's obviously moving down trying to get ready to be born, and you have all this pressure, and you're just like, oh my God, this hurts so bad. And then they flip you onto your other side and put it between your knees again, and you're supposed to just lay there and try to see if it helps. It didn't really help me. I think I got to a 6 maybe, and then it just stopped. Like, I didn't go any further than that. And so they came in, and my doctor said, do you want me to lie to you? And I was like, no. And so he was like, okay, well, here are your options. You can try to have her naturally, but you are not dilating. Her head's further up than they wanted it to be at that point, and she was huge. And so they were like, you can either try to do it naturally and have to have an emergency C-section possibly, or we can just go ahead and do the C-section now and plan it, and it won't be as bad, and you won't have to go through the whole process of trying to push to have the baby. And I was like, I guess go ahead and do the C-section. I was so scared. I've never had surgery before. And so as soon as he left, I started crying. And then Jordan, bless his heart, he was like, I know you're scared. I'm scared. And I was like, okay, I'm glad you're scared because I'm really scared. And so they came in and they prepped me to take me back. And I literally think that the whole thing from them coming to my room and from her being born, I literally think it was like 30 minutes. Like, it was so fast because I'd already had an epidural. They had to do it twice because at first he did one and he was touching spots on my back and he said, do you feel it more on this side or this side? And I said, I feel it more on this side. And so he was like, okay, we had to do it again because it should be right in the middle. And I was like, oh my God. And my nurse was sitting there and she had like bent me forward so that way they could get to my spine better. And she's holding my shoulders and she's just like patting my back and she's telling me I'm doing such a good job. And I mean, I'm terrified of needles, so that was not fun for me to have to do it twice. And when they did my epidural, it was easier for the medicine to numb me for the C-section. It took effect faster. I have like mom brain. I can't think straight anymore, but it took effect faster that way. And so then they were like, okay, it's time to go. And I'm like, I'm so scared. And so they get me back there and Jordan has to wait in a little room while they get everything set up for the actual surgery. And they finally let him come in there. I'm shivering because the room is so cold because obviously it's like a sterile environment and so it's like freezing cold. And so they finally let him come in there with me and he comes and he's like sitting by my head and he's like rubbing my head and he's telling me that it's okay and everything's fine. And while we're talking, I feel something do like this on my stomach. And I said, I think they just cut me. And he was like, what? And he looked and they had. Very much so. And he was like, yep, they sure did. And so it was so funny to me because he kept doing like this over the little blanket they have dividing your top part and your bottom part. And he was like trying to peek. And I said, you know, you're allowed to watch. I don't know why you would want to, but you're allowed to. She's not having any part of this. And so he actually watched most of it. And it was so weird to me. Because then, obviously, they took her out. And he went with her to make sure she had all of her fingers and toes and 2 eyeballs. She thought that was funny. And so he came back when they brought her over. And they laid her on me. And I was just crying because I started crying as soon as I heard her crying because I knew that meant she was okay. And so when he came back, he was like, you did so good. And it was so sweet. And I was just so happy that she was finally here because I waited a whole extra week. I was so mad. But her was worth it. Can you look at the camera? Can you look at it one time? She definitely looks like Jordan, but she has my eyes. You can't really tell because she won't look. They're definitely my eyes. But anyway, my nose ring is like sticking out. Oops. But tomorrow we have my work Christmas party. And she is going to her first like actual restaurant outing. And it's going to be interesting, I think. But anyways, back to my birthing. So after she was born, they took me and her back to my recovery room, and they had to get me from the table where they did my surgery back onto a bed. And so they took me off the table they did my surgery on and put me on a stretcher, but they moved me. Like, they picked me up and moved me. And then I had to go from there to a stretcher. I don't know if that's even the right thing to say. I don't know. Whatever. They put me in my bed, but I had to move from this table to the bed. And so they told me to like try to shimmy, like they said move with your elbows and your heels, like try to pick yourself up like that, because like I didn't realize how bad it hurt until I tried to move. But I did it, and honestly, okay, honestly, it was very painful, but I did very well with it, the nurses said, because I moved by myself. They didn't have to help me. And then 12 hours later, I had to get up and go to the bathroom by myself. And they said, sorry, I'm trying to look at this package I got in the mail today. But they said, if you can go to the bathroom without us helping you get there, then you don't have to let us know when you have to go to the bathroom. And I was like, okay. So I got up and walked to the bathroom by myself. And I came back, and she was like, oh, that's awesome. And so then they were like, well, we have to measure your pee. And so if you peed at this line, then you don't have to tell us how much you peed. And so I went in there and peed past that line, because I was like, I'm not telling you every time I have to use the bathroom. And I know it's protocol. Like, I'm not mad at them, but it was like, I don't know. I wanted to be able to do stuff by myself. And so I think it was a little bit after that, I got up and took a shower and washed off all of the blood and guts and water from where they broke my water, the amniotic fluid. They had poop in it. I love my life. So funny. But, I mean, everything was worth it, definitely. If I had to do it all over again, I would still get a C-section, because I feel like the recovery wasn't as bad as what I hear it is for a natural birth. And so, it was not fun, don't get me wrong, but I don't think either way to recover is fun. I think both of them are bad. And so, I was happy with the outcome of it, you know. And Jordan was so great when we got home from the hospital. He was just so amazing about helping with the baby and helping me, because, you know, at the hospital, they have a rail for you to hold on to when you're in the shower. But at home, obviously, I don't have one of those. And so the first time I took a shower, he came in there and, like, helped me. Like, he stood beside the tub, and I held on to his shoulder when I was trying to, like, wash my feet. And so he was so helpful. And I just don't know what I would have done without him. And without the rest of our family, because they made sure that we ate, and they made sure that we didn't need any help with the baby, and they gave us our own space instead of trying to just everybody bombard us all at one time. And so that was really nice. And what else? What else? You don't know? You just a baby? Are you just a baby? We are ready for her first Christmas. These are those are our shoes back here. And these are Christmas decorations that I still have not finished putting up. 10 days out. Still have not finished putting it up, because it's so hard. Nobody talks about how hard it is to have, like, a baby in the house. Like, I know they talk about how hard it is to be pregnant, and they talk about how hard it is to recover after you have the baby, but I don't feel like they talk enough about how hard it is to have a baby in the house and try to do stuff, because it's very difficult. But we're making the best out of it, and we love her, and she's perfect, and we could not ask for a better baby, and she's so cute. I think, look how fat her legs are. Like, you see all the rolls. Hey, Chunkamunk. You're not gonna look. She literally wants to look at everything except for my phone when she knows that I'm videoing her or taking a picture of her. Like, she's so bad about it. And everybody's like, she takes such good pictures. She always looks so happy. I'm like, you don't know the blood, sweat, and tears that went into me taking that picture of her, because she hates to look at the camera. And it's just for me. Like, if her dad's trying to do it, she's like, and she'll smile, and she'll coo at him, and she'll be so sweet. And then when I try, she's like she's doing right now. But it's okay, because she's still She's a good baby. She's just rotten. Which is partially Mama's fault, huh? She will not look at this camera. Jovi, look. She's so mad. Oh my goodness. You bad girl. Are you a bad girl? Be honest. She's trying to... Okay. Well, I think that's enough for today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, because I will be very open about my experience here. In the hood. Motherhood. She's trying to eat my arm. Okay, she's had enough. Bye, guys.